Hello everyone, welcome to the Fab View, and today I'm going to share with you my tiers for the World Cup 2026. I cannot wait for tonight when Mexico plays South Africa and we kickstart what every single wife is going to dread, a night out, continuous night out of football, and sometimes during dinners as well, where all the husbands in this world and some wives will be too busy to do anything else. Let's go. All right, and without spending too much time on it, we're going to go in through the never happening. You're never going to win the World Cup, and likely you're not going to go through the group stage. Although I reserve the right to be wrong here, because especially in this World Cup, there is always going to be lots of groups with 3 teams going through. So let's go through it. I'm going to go firstly with Australia, then Bosnia, Cape Verde, sorry, Irmãos, I apologize for that. Curacao, Haiti, Iraq, Jordan, New Zealand, Panama and Paraguay, Qatar, Scotland, South Africa, Sweden, Tunisia, and Uzbekistan. All right, next up is get out of the group stage, and this is probably a good result for these national teams, in my opinion. Algeria, Austria, Canada, Croatia, Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, Egypt, Iran, Saudi, South Korea, also Czechia, Congo, Switzerland, Turkey, Uruguay, and I'm going to add the hosts, United States of America. Now the dark horses, these are teams that can definitely do a surprise and maybe, just maybe, knock out one of the heavies or the almost there teams, those contenders. The contender list is quite restricted. And those for me are Belgium, Colombia, Ghana, Japan, Morocco, Norway, Holland, and Senegal. And again, I'm going to add another host, and it's going to be Mexico. Finally, we got to the almost theirs. And I'm going to leave my national team behind to the last spot. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. As you probably know, my national team is Portugal. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to leave it for the end. But first, I'm going to go into the almost there, starting from bottom all the way to top. And I'm going to start with Argentina. I don't think Argentina has at this stage what it takes to win the World Cup. Now, having said that, I didn't think that in 2022 either, and they ended up winning it all the way. A little bit pushed by the referees at times and supported by a massive flow of performances from several players that really stood out after the defeat against Saudi. But they did it. They managed to do it at the end against a fantastic French team, and they did it. So I'll put it there. Deserve respect, obviously, and there is always that beast of a Messi, always on the pitch, irrespective of his age. At any point in time, can find a pass. If he has a free kick, just get out of the way. So it's going to be definitely one of the almost there teams that could potentially make it all the way. Then next up is going to be England for me. I think England has a few question marks around key aspects of their game. The dynamic between Bellingham and Kane, who's the player that is going to be making the defensive line? Is it Konsa? Is it Gay? Then as well, a few heavy hitters that were left behind, like Trent Alexander-Arnold. And the question about Saka as well. Is it fit? Is it not fit? Is it going to be good to go or is it not? So I think at this stage it's safe to say that England is probably not right at the top of the list, and I'll put him right over Argentina with a slight nudge to be on the teams of almost there. Next up is Germany. And I think Germany is always a team that, irrespective of any problems, any question marks, you have to put them at the end of any list, and the good end. And I think Germany is that case. Several talented, absolute stud talented players, Musiala, etc. A few question marks. Where is Kimmich going to play? Who's going to be the goalkeeper? Who's going to be the center forward? Those questions are all there. It's true. But this is a team that if it hits a good stride, they have several experienced players, a very good talent around them, and they could make a dent on any other contender. And then finally, for the almost there, I'm going to put Brazil. I don't think Brazil is yet there on the heavies. I think they're better than what they were in the past 2 World Cups, but I don't think they're there quite yet. Still a lot to be proven. How is Neymar going to be come World Cup? How is he going to be managed? What's going to be the situation with the squad? A lot of question marks around Hendrik's relationship with other players. Some people think Hendrik should start, but he hasn't been starting recently, and he probably is not going to start ahead of Igor Thiago. So a lot of question marks, in my opinion. Also, the fullbacks quite suspect, and they just lost Wesley as well. So yeah, I think a lot of question marks as well around Brazil. Now, with that said, it's Brazil. It's the team that won the most World Cups in the world, and ultimately that yellow shirt does scare some teams, and I think our brothers will have something to say about this World Cup, and that for me is the list of almost there. Now into the heavies, and the heavies is a short list, and I'm going to start with our current European champions, Spain. I think they have to be there. They have to be there. European champions, finalists of the Nations League, which was won by Portugal. Thank God for that. Um, but yeah, a team that has a fantastic dynamic, plays an amazing brand of football, keep the ball like nobody else, and a little bit more experience, right? So I think definitely a team that has to be there at the top of any list. And on top of that, if they win their group, they're going to be in the easiest bracket. So I think they have a kind of an easier route if they do win their group, unless one of the top teams ends up finishing second and falling into that side. But for now, considering all things considering and dictated by the current situation, I would say that Spain has to be there as the heavy favorite to win. And the next one is obviously France, which for me is the top contender for this World Cup. I think it's a team that is absolutely star-studded. Also has players on the bench that, in my opinion, would probably start in a lot of the almost there teams. And it's a good place to be when you can replace Dembele by a Desiré Doué or a Barcola or other players, starting with Olise, Dembele, and Mbappe probably. So it's a studded squad with a lot of experience at the back, in the midfield, up top, and a manager that has done it for many years, and they already have that pedigree of winning the World Cup in 2018. So definitely a team that has to be an heavy favorite in my opinion. Right, and finally, where do I see the seleção? Where do I see the team, the navigators? Honestly, it's a tough one because I think we have so much talent. I think we have one of the best generations that we ever had. Not sure if this generation is better than 2004 and 2006, all the way to 2008. But if it's not there, it's almost there. And I would say probably as good, but in different sectors of the pitch. When we look at our fullbacks, it's crazy the quality that we have. When we think about our midfield with Vitinha, with Bruno, with Ruben Neves, with Bernardo Silva, it's crazy the quality. And then the question for me becomes in an area where normally we don't have a problem, which is up top. I look at Ronaldo with 41 years of age, and it's a player that Ronaldo can do whatever he wants, in my opinion, and he has to start for this national team because we don't have anybody better than him. Point blank, people can talk whatever they want about Gonçalo Ramos. The fact of the matter is that since Ramos was sold to PSG and he barely plays, so there is no debate there for me. Ronaldo has to start, but then the question is who plays around him, because right now, obviously, great partnership with Felix, but Felix is not a player that has been adjusting well to playing wide. He's a player that likes to play more central, but we play with two wide players around the center forward, so that's a question mark right there, because you can't play him behind Ronaldo unless you take completely the wingers and maybe go into a diamond, which we never did. The other option is go with three at the back and take one player from the front and play with two wide full backs that go up and down the pitch a lot more with Nuno Mendes and maybe Cancelo. But again, it's not something that the manager has done in recent times. He has preferred the 4-3-3, a more classical version of our formation. So for me, I look at this team and go, what do we have in terms of quality on the wings? And that is where the problem lies. Rafael Leão, it's a phenomenal talent, at his best, one of the best wingers in the world. But the problem is that he's so inconsistent, and he comes on the back of a terrible season. Might be a great opportunity for him to motivate himself and show what he can do for step out for an opportunity to step out of AC Milan. But he just got a red card on a stupid situation in a game to prepare the team for the World Cup. So it doesn't seem like he's on the best mind right now, which is a shame for a player of his quality and of his talent. Then the rest, the options are Pedro Neto, are Francisco Conceição, which frankly are not at all in the top tier of wingers in the world. Probably not even in their own clubs. So for me, difficult to imagine a national team in Portugal that is not going to struggle in the final third of the pitch to score goals. As much quality as we have in the back line and in the midfield, that's where I see us struggling, and potentially that's why I see us not as contenders or heavy favorites, but instead as almost there. And that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below, both on YouTube and on Instagram, what you think. If you disagree with anything on these tiers, let me know for sure. I would love to have that discussion. And I look forward. I cannot wait for this World Cup, starting in less than an hour for me. So I really look forward to it. Enjoy the World Cup. We'll stay tuned to our podcasts and all that stuff on the FabView channel. And I look forward to seeing you again. Speak soon. Ciao.